What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we've got some brand spankin' new Destiny 2 news. Now, all this comes from the Bungie weekly update that has just been released, detailing a bunch of new official information. And so, let's get started. Now, a bunch of stuff within the realm of Destiny 2 has been happening recently. Mainly, yesterday, Bungie released a full roadmap of what changes they were adding in the next few months and exactly when they were being added. Well, in this weekly update, Bungie goes into detail and completely breaks down what exactly is happening in the next Sandbox update. Now, part of that roadmap for patch 1.1.4 on March 27th, there would be a weapon/ability sandbox change. And a lot of people were wondering, well, what is this going to be? The last Sandbox update we had was just non-consequential. The assault rifles, or I should say auto rifles, stayed exactly where they are and not much changed. But if these changes are to be believed, that's not going to happen this time. Things are going to be very different. Now, one of the main complaints about Destiny 2, especially for PvP, is that the game is slow. Your movement speed is literally slower than D1. Your abilities and your super recharge slower. You just fight primary versus primary instead of being able to utilize weapons like sniper rifles and shotguns and so on. And a lot of people have been turned off by this change. Well, that is what might be completely changing. So, what is happening in this next update? Well, Bungie is literally calling this update the quote, go fast update. So, here are the bullet point changes. First off, all three glides, plus catapult and strafe lift, have been retuned and buffed to make them feel more unique and faster. Number 2, the mobility stat has had its range expanded and been completely retuned as well. In short, everyone gets faster and the high end is higher. So movement speed apparently will actually affect how fast you move, and if you spec completely into movement speed, you're going to be ripping around the map. Finally, that change should have been in since the start. Next up, the player's ground speed cap has been increased, allowing for faster total movement speed regardless of how you may get there. In addition to that, Arc Strider, Sentinel, and Striker all move faster and at the same speed as one another while in their supers. So, boy, is Titan skating coming back to D2? Whew, as a Titan main, I hope so. Now, after that, Arc Strider as a whole is performing well in PvP, but mostly due to its neutral game perks. We've made the following changes in an effort to get the super to be more competitive. Number 1, faster attack animations. Number 2, faster dodge animations. Number 3, increased range of all attacks. So Arc Strider is going to be more deadly, and frankly I would rather see more Arc Striders than more Invis Night Stalkers. I know a lot of you are in the same boat. After that, the next change is supers recharge faster for everyone. And that's gonna go a long way into making Destiny 2 feel more like Destiny 1. You're actually getting your super multiple times even in a game, and you're moving so much faster. Like, there is a lot of changes to mobility coming in this patch. Like, you get the changes to the jumps, and you get the changes to base velocity, and you get the changes to just what's happening with the mobility stat. Those are 3 changes all affecting movement speed. Like, that's huge. But we got even more. Then we've buffed several weapon archetypes, including, but not limited to, hand cannons, pulse rifles, sniper rifles, and shotguns, and a few specific perks as well. Thank goodness. Hand cannons have been pretty underused. Pulse rifles have been criminally underused, and I'm really glad to see those 2 weapon categories buffed. Hopefully Bungie buffs them enough. Bungie, you guys have had a pretty bad history of saying you're going to buff something and then, famously buffing fast-firing auto rifles by 0.04%. A change that made literally no difference in any scenario whatsoever within gameplay. So hopefully these are substantial buffs, because I'd like to use pulse rifles competitively in PvP without having to struggle. Now, moving on from there, they say a key goal here is to make shotguns, snipers, and fusion rifles more prevalent in the game. Because right now, a lot of people, when they run a power weapon, are just running rockets. Like, that's almost always what you see. But moving on from there, we have even more changes. Bungie states, we've also been working side by side with our friends on PvP to increase the pace of PvP combat and the frequency of power play. Here's a sneak peek at their hard work. So, a lot of changes here, but it all has to do to the ammo economy. So let's get started. Player respawn times for all quick play modes have been decreased. Number 2, power ammo respawn timers for all quick play modes have been reduced by around 30%. Power ammo respawn timers in survival have been reduced by around 40%. Power ammo respawn timers in countdown have been reduced by around 25%. Power ammo counts have been adjusted in relation to these timers and in relation to weapon type. Next, enemy players now drop their power ammo on death. The dropped brick is available to anyone until picked up for around 30 seconds. Okay, a lot of changes, and I kind of just rattled them off, but essentially, power ammo is going to spawn more frequently pretty much everywhere, around 30% for quick play game modes. Already pretty big change. You're going to see a lot more people rocking power weapons in those playlists. And in addition to that, players actually dropping power ammo, just like in Mayhem, is now being instated all the time. That is a huge change. Like, that is astronomically big, because a lot of the time someone grabs power ammo and you kill them and that power ammo disappears, right? But now you can pick it up, and importantly, it's available for anyone. So if that scrub tier player on your team grabs a power ammo away from you, gets himself killed immediately, you can actually just pick up his power ammo. That is, again, an astronomical change, and this is going to make power weapons so much more relevant. PvP is going to change dramatically from this. And lastly, one more change for you Titan mains out there, aka you talented, beautiful people out there. The shoulder strike nerf, where you couldn't shoulder strike and actually use it as a mobility feature, is being removed. It's going back to where it was. You can now shoulder strike around corners and complete jumps and all of that stuff. Thank goodness. And then one more thing, and this isn't a change, this is an explanation about snipers. A lot of snipers have been complaining that, hey, I can't use sniper rifles in the game because they flinch so much. When someone looks at me, I flinch, right? And Bungie acknowledges that that is a problem, but essentially they've discovered some sort of bug preventing them from tuning snipers to where they want to be tuned. Like, they try to reduce the flinch and it doesn't work. So they're going to have to go in, internally change a lot of very complicated stuff, and hopefully have snipers flinch less, but it's not going to be something that's going to be, unfortunately, introduced right away. Bungie is planning to reduce sniper flinch substantially, but it will take a while, and that's just the way things are. And before we move on from all of these changes, I do want to read the last paragraph from Josh Hamrick, who is the Crucible design lead. He says, like I mentioned, this is the first part in a series of Sandbox updates that we hope you come to enjoy. As these changes continue to solidify, we'll have more to say. The next items on our agenda after these changes include the mod system rework, which we plan to use to buff ability cooldowns, and the exotic balance pass, where they're going to make exotics a lot more powerful. We're also continuing to evaluate Destiny 2's weapon slot system, and how all of the different types of weapons in Destiny 2 fit into the game, and how they're being played, and what we can do to improve that experience. Expect to hear more from us about that in a future update. So, a lot of stuff is happening, and a lot of stuff is happening all at once to change the core experience of gameplay. Like, once all of these changes happen, if you're someone who's dissatisfied with Destiny 2, which again, I totally understand that. I totally understand not liking where the game has gone. I myself don't like where the game has gone, but I obviously want this game to get better. Like, I just want the game to improve, and then at the end of the day, if we can have a good Destiny 2, everyone wins, right? So all of these changes happening, like completely reworked exotics, the mod system completely changing to accommodate ability cooldowns especially, mobility completely changing, the ammo economy completely changing, weapons getting buffed that need it. If all of these things happen, and then you come back and you play Destiny 2, it's going to be completely different experience. Like, PvP is going to completely change, right? And that is the hope. And also, if you're a PvE player, let's not forget, you're going to get all these benefits too. You're going to be moving faster. You're going to have more powerful, hopefully, hand cannons and pulse rifles and so on. So you're also going to get that trickle-down effect to help your gameplay experience as well. So I think these are good changes, and I'm glad Bungie is outlining them. We will have to wait until March 27th to get them, which is a little unfortunate, but, you know, better late than never, frankly. And so, guys, that is it for the information within this update. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. And if you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.